Hola, my name is Chef Santana, and I am coming to you from my kitchen in San Juan, Puerto Rico, in Santurce. I have been a chef for technically 7 years. I have been cooking my whole life. I came from a family that really likes food, but I went to culinary school in New York City, the Institute of Culinary Education, in 2013. And then I eventually left restaurants and started I'll Cook Like Your Mother, which is my catering company. My family on my father's side is from Vieques. It's a small island that's part of Puerto Rico, but it's much smaller and it's kind of a different world, to be honest. But like many families from Vieques, my family migrated to St. Croix, which is a neighboring island and a U.S. territory. So it's a very interesting mashup of culture and really bomb food. You know, my mother is mixed African American and mixed blend Portuguese, some other things wrapped up in there from the west coast of California. But I, as a chef, am very influenced by both sides of my culture. But since we're coming to you from my home in San Juan, I wanted to make something very traditional, very Puerto Rican, very classic. In Puerto Rico, we call them arepas, and in St. Croix, they're called Johnny Cake. They're traditional fry bread arepa, but they're made with coconut milk. So it's got a little bit of a sweetness. They're light and they're crispy and they're fluffy. And traditionally, we eat like ensalada de pulpo, like octopus salad. You can put carne guisada on top. You can put pollo. You can put whatever you want. You can get creative. I want to share with you guys a real quick recipe for arepas, and you probably have everything that you need in your pantry right now. So let's get started. For your ingredients, you will need 2 cups of all-purpose flour, plus about a cup for dusting, 1 cup of full-fat coconut milk, 1 tablespoon of white sugar, 1 teaspoon of baking powder, 1/4 teaspoon of salt, and 2 tablespoons of chilled butter cubed. So in a large bowl, you're going to combine all of your dry ingredients. So get your flour, your baking powder, sugar, and your salt all together in a bowl. And if you have a KitchenAid mixer, feel free to use it and use the dough attachment. But if you don't have any of those things, a bowl and a whisk will work just fine. So make sure that you whisk all of your dry ingredients together to make sure they're fully incorporated. And also use a sifter if you got that. That's quite helpful. Once all of your dry ingredients are fully incorporated, you're going to add in your chilled cubes of butter. And using your fingertips, you're going to mix the butter into the flour until you get quite a mealy consistency. You just want to make sure that the butter thoroughly disperses throughout the flour, there's no chunks, and that it's an even meal flour. Once your butter is fully incorporated into the flour, it is time to add in the coconut milk. So one thing about the coconut milk to keep in mind is that you don't want to add it all in at once. You want to add splashing a little bit, little by little, just so it's easy to manage and incorporate into the dough, into the dry ingredients. Also, your kitchen environment can affect how much liquid you actually need. If you are in, let's say, a winter environment where it's a little more dry in the air, you could stand to use a little more moisture. You add a little bit more coconut milk. If you're in a very moist environment, very humid environment like I am here in the Caribbean, then I'm going to have a little flour on hand to offset any extra stickiness in the dough. If you run into the same situation that I find myself in with a very sticky dough, it is quite all right to take a little pause, rinse off your hands, and grab some extra flour. You want to just sprinkle a little bit on the top, and using a spatula, scraping all the flour down and around the sides of the bowl to incorporate into your dough and hopefully get it to the right texture and consistency that you need. Don't be frustrated if your dough is too sticky. Just add your flour little by little and keep playing with it. Keep fighting your dough, slapping it, turning it, separating it, scraping down your bowl to make sure you get all the flour up and incorporated. It's going to take a little time just to work a nice smooth dough, so do what you have to do. Again, if it's too sticky, add a little flour, break it up, roll it around, and get it nice and smooth. Once your dough is no longer sticky and it's nice and smooth and ready to rest, get it into a bowl and cover it with plastic saran wrap or aluminum or even a clean dish towel if that's all you've got. Give it about 30 minutes to rest. This will allow the gluten in the dough to relax so that when you go to roll it out, it doesn't give you too much resistance and you can roll easily. Once your dough has rested and relaxed for at least 30 minutes, it's time to roll it out. You want to make sure that the dough is nice and thin. You don't want it too thick and you don't want it paper thin, but you want a nice thinness on it. In order to get the nice, cute little shapes, you can do a wide mouth cup. You can do a shot glass size to make little arepitas. I use kind of a small glass. I like smaller arepas so that I can eat a whole bunch of them and not feel as bad. So go ahead and roll it out, get it nice and thin, and use your cup to cut it out, cut out shapes. In a frying pan, heat frying oil to about 350 degrees Fahrenheit. It's fine if the oil goes up about an inch, half an inch to an inch up the pan, just enough so that the arepas can float. Once the oil is nice and hot, drop your arepas in the pan and keep an eye on them. You don't want them to burn or brown too quickly. Make sure you're turning them and checking on them because they will cook quite quickly. When they are nice and golden and the dough is cooked through, you can drain them on paper towels and enjoy them hot, room temperature, or save the dough for a later time. You can keep the dough wrapped nice and tight in the fridge for a couple of days, or you can even wrap it up tight and freeze it. Either way, this is a great recipe, and I hope you enjoy. Buen provecho. The dogs won't stop barking. I think they smell the arepitas and they want some, so. The gallos too. These are so good. You'll find these throughout the Caribbean. They're called different names, but Jamaica has them, Trinidad has them. They're good with coffee, cheddar cheese. Light, fluffy, crispy. They're the perfect snack. Perfect for breakfast. I love them. Let me know what you think.